do, or what do you advise people to do? And it could be a writer, it could be a creative in any sphere. When the muse is supposed to strike, other people are producing, and you just like doing 50 words and you've just got nowhere. How do you handle that?
Yeah, you kind of bleeding out onto the page and nothing's coming. Yeah, so the first thing I would say is don't panic. It's, you know, don't leap to the conclusion that this is not some work worth making. So that you need a kind of element of acceptance of where you're at, and not to get too far ahead of yourself. So that's part of it, the kind of to hold your line a little bit. And then I would say to people, I encourage people to get interested in the process. Like, how are they moving with the creative process? What's the relationship between them and the muse? Are they fighting? Are they kind of dragging at something? How can they learn to dance with the muse? How can that relationship become a little more fluid? So it's almost like you have to take a step back or a step up, or whatever direction you're heading, and kind of look at what's going on between you and your story. What's the relationship like? So there's that it's a sense of elevation, a little bit of stepping back. And then the last thing I would say is for people not to focus too much on the end result. You know, sometimes people I have to submit this book by March, you know, and it's good to have deadlines. And Sarah, I know you're very good at holding people to deadlines and marshalling them along the route. And that's great. And if it works for you, fantastic. But sometimes you have to accept that the story, the muse, the book, the poem, the song, whatever it is just not coming. And 99% of the times, forcing that, like just bullheadedly like bashing your way into that process, is not going to yield results. We have to get curious about what's going on and develop some kind of intrigue about what's happening. What are we bringing to this process? What's going on inside us that's part of us getting stuck?
I love what you're saying, because the truth of it is very few writers come to the writing process to make money. Most writers come because they want to be immersed in a world of story and of mystery and of storytelling and of magic. And you're right that the end result, even though many want to be a published author, not all, right? And would you ever just say, I mean, do you advocate journaling? Do you advocate just getting words on a page? Or is it just about being in a creative process, whatever the outcome?
Yeah, I do advocate journaling. I think one of the things that brings panic on, especially for writers, is not having a word count at the end of the day. You know, you go to sleep with kind of 12 more words than you woke up with, and that doesn't make anybody feel good. So being able to write something, just writing, is really, really helpful for writers. And one trick that I've used quite a lot with the people that I work with is to sort of get a little bit meta in the story. So if people are stuck, if your story's not moving forward, if you finished one chapter and the next scene just won't come, and you try this and you try that, step out of the story a bit. A technique that I've used is to treat the story like a movie set. And imagine you're on set with all of you're in the location, all of the characters are there. Call a cast meeting in the morning. Just gather your characters around. The camera's not rolling. You're not at the business end of the story. Have a conversation with your characters. Ask them what's going on. Ask them how they feel. Let them tell you their experience. Maybe two of the characters will start talking to each other. It could have nothing to do with the story. It could be about a part of the backstory. It could be about who knows what, something that they feel, could be their own dramas playing out. Let that happen. And there are two things that happen if you can get this process rolling. One is you're writing this down, so there's something happening, so you feel like something's moving, and then you feel better. So that's an amazing thing. The other part is that process requires a degree of receptivity. You aren't telling the characters what to do. The characters are telling you about something. So you kind of, your role goes down a little bit, and you learn to listen. while writing. And that's a super powerful thing. That's when you start getting back into relationship with the muse. It's not all about you. You have to, you're listening, you're learning, you're allowing the story to lead you. And I think that change of frame can be super helpful for writers.
Thank you, Michael. That is so good. There's such great tips. And, we can just get stuck in so many places. And also just knowing that you're not alone and that this tortured process is for so many of us.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you for your time today. And
You're
I'll
welcome.
put your details so people can get hold of you as well.
Yes, you can get hold of me at michael@distillery.com.